Hi everyone, Amanda Jane here from Amanda Jane Crafts, and in today's video I'm going to show you the fail-safe way of joining granny squares. So this is a game changer because it means that to make this blanket you don't have to do any stitching together or crocheting together right at the end. And so it's a really quick way of joining your squares. Now I decided to do these this blanket because I had lots of double knitting weight yarn left over from teaching, and I wanted to get some new yarn for the new term which comes up in September. So I've made all these granny squares, and my cat decided that he was going to take a little snooze on this. So we're going to finish off this blanket. I've just got this corner to do, and I'm going to show you how to join these together. And it's pretty straightforward. Now in this example, I have got my granny square traditional clusters of double crochet going along the sides, and in the corners I'm using 2 chain. Now you might use 1, but the process is very similar. So we're doing 2 chain in the corner, and to do the center of this I will show you in another video which I'll link to in the description below, so that you can learn how to do this center bit. I didn't want a plain granny square blanket. So let's start off. I'll just move this so that you can see the edges. So I want to join this mid blue granny square into the white here and the green here. So what I did was I nearly finished this granny square, but I left the last two edges free. So I haven't completed this granny square. You can see that I've got 2 sides that are the last side, the last round. And to finish this off, I've got to work along this side and this side, but I'm going to join it at the same time. So I get to the corner and find my crochet hook, 4mm crochet hook today. It's the usual, and I make sure that I have just done one of my corner clusters and 1 stitch, 1 chain stitch. Now I'm going to join my corner to this corner of the white. So the thing I do is to hold my yarn ready, place my hook into that corner. Now you just need to hold your work steady with your thumb and your second finger. Draw up a loop and draw it straight through the loop that was on your hook. So it's a slip stitch. Then we're going to immediately start our we're going to do a chain. And that's good because that you can pull a little tight and that will secure that corner. And then I'm going to do my next granny cluster, 3 double crochet into the corner. Now don't join the granny cluster to the white. You're just doing it freely like you would. So there we go. We've got the corner attached, our granny cluster, and that's completed that first quarter. Now I'm going to join this loop through here. So stick it into the next gap, yarn over, pull up a loop and pull it straight through the loop on the hook. So that's a slip stitch. So we've joined up these 2 clusters. Oh, this cat. These 2 clusters are next to each other. So there is a little gap in between. But in my pattern, there's lots of little gaps. So it doesn't really matter. Now I continue to do my 3 double crochet into the next space, and then I join. Now if you're the sort of person who does a chain in between your granny clusters, just continue to do the chain. It's absolutely fine. Yarn over, keep going. So you can see you're just finishing off but joining in between clusters with a slip stitch. So find your next gap just here on the white, insert your hook, yarn over, pull it through, and then pull it straight through, yarn over, and continue. 1, 2, 3. Into the next one. Keep these quite tight because you don't want to create an extra stitch. I mean, technically it is an extra stitch, but you want to keep it quite tight. And you come to the corner, and it's quite nice working on a table because you can see what you're doing. It keeps it nice and flat. Now we've reached the corner here, and I want to join this corner into the corner where these 3 meet, and I'm actually going to do it across this gap here. I do 1 chain, then I do my slip stitch, so I'm going to go into this space here, keep the tension quite tight. I'm just flicking that over the white, pulling it through, and then pulling it straight through. Do 1 chain. Now I'm keeping my tension really tightly here because I want this join to be quite close. Then we turn our work a little 90 degrees and we continue working, finishing off the corner. So let's do this. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to find the first space on this lovely dark green, slip stitch, and keep it quite close. You're going to have to use that second finger and your thumb to keep the work quite close. Otherwise, what happens is you tend to find, oh, I've just trapped my yarn. Let's undo that. Sorry about that. I always keep the little mistakes in because it's much more interesting if I make mistakes. Yarn over into the mid blue colour. 1, 2, 3. Find the next gap. You do need to just look a little bit, flick your work back. One, 2, 3. Into the next one. So you can see this is much quicker than sewing them together, which I've never found to be very satisfactory. Or you can do lovely way of doing it. If you want a band all the way around here, you can actually crochet as you go and just do the last round together. Sorry, I'm not making much sense, but that I can link you to someone else's video who has a very good way, but that's if you want to have a different colour that is sort of a border around every single one. But I didn't want that look. Right, I've reached the end, so I'm in my corner. I've done my chain stitch, slip stitch, chain, and then I've reached the end of the round, so I'm going to find the top of my starting chain here. I'm just going to slip stitch that together, yarn over, find my scissors. I like to leave a longish tail and then use my thumb and fingernail just to push that knot down so it doesn't stick up. And I will tidy up these ends when I've finished. and that is the final join. So you can see it's joined quite neatly. It looks neat on the reverse. In fact, it looks neater on the reverse in many respects than it does on the right side. I like these little V's. You could trial working it like that with wrong sides together, join it wrong sides together, but I think you might struggle to get the double crochet the right sides. So that's that one done. So that looks very neat and tidy. So that's nearly finished, that corner. So I'm going to progress onto the pale green that I have here. In the normal way, I'm going to insert my hook. Make sure that I have just done one corner chain, which I have just there. Now this is slightly fine, this green, this pale green I'm using. I don't know how they managed to call it double knitting. It's really thin, but I don't think it matters for a scrap blanket. You just use what you've got. Insert your hook and do a slip stitch, making sure it's nice and tight. One chain, and then do our 3 double crochet in the usual way. Now it's this one you need, it's that second one you need to keep the tension quite tight, otherwise you end up with it not being even along the edge. We'll look at the edge in a moment. Hop along, next gap, slip stitch, 3 crochet, double crochet. You see, that's where you can get that gap. That's a good example of where I would start that again, tighten up my tension, thumb and second finger, hold it steady, and then continue holding it steady. Don't normally need to do that when you're going round and round, but this join means that you've got to make sure that they're neatly joined. So I'm coming down this side. Again, try and get your tension correct. 1, 2, 3. Join onto the next one, slip stitch, and then 3 here, 1, 2. I think this was a Wendy wool, and I'm not sure I like it very much. I did make a baby jumper out of it, and a baby vest. It was quite fun, and actually for baby clothes it was fine. Right, we're coming to the corner. Don't think this tension is helped by the fact that I'm showing this to you on a video, so I wouldn't hold my work quite like this normally. So remember that when you're doing the corner, you do your first cluster, 1 chain. Decide exactly where you're going to insert your hook for your slip stitch, and I'm going to go under that white, pull it through, and then pull it through the loop on your hook, 1 chain nice and tightly, and then turn your work 90 degrees. See, I've got all this blanket that I managed to get out of my scraps. I mean, they were quite big scraps, I have to say. They were not little scraps. Now I'm going to finish off this corner here. 1, 2, and 3. Join up, and then 1, 2, 3. 3 double crochet. Treble crochet for you're in the UK, but we're all used to granny squares and we're all used to different terminology. Very good. Join up again. And you continue down this side just like we did on the blue square. Oh, it's got all wrapped around my crochet hook. 1, 2, 3. Nearly at the corner. 1, 2, 3. Into the last gap on the white. Into the corner. 1, 2, 3. Because we're at the corner, 1 chain. Now we do a slip stitch. I want to go under there, pull through, 1 chain, and join to that first, the top of the first. I do 2 turning chain on my granny squares. Some people do 3. Just depends on your tension. Yarn over, cut your yarn, pull your tail through, push it down with a finger and thumb, and there we have all but one of my blanket squares. Now I'm going to do a border all the way around this, and I'm going to show you just how I'm doing the border so that it makes sense. So let's squiddle over here. I'm going to have to move all of this around so that you can see what I'm doing. Sorry about this. Okay, so I'm doing rounds, and I'm using yarn that I have quite a lot of because you've got to go all the way around. Now the tricky thing is, let's have a look at the anatomy of the granny square. Got easy gaps for our clusters to go in, but where we're in the middle, what you don't want to do is a cluster here and a cluster here. You want to do one cluster going over both of these, going over this join. So this is how I decided to do this. I'm doing 1 double crochet in the corner of the first square and 2 in the next corner of the aqua coloured square. Now obviously that looks slightly strange at the moment, but once you've got the border all the way round, you're not even going to really see this. The other way you could do it is you could do a double crochet 2 together, which would be, you'd do your, you do a yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop and go through 2, yarn over, insert your hook, pull through 2, then yarn over and pull through 3, which will give you a fatter stem here, and then you can finish off by doing 2 double crochet on this side. So it means you've only got 1 stitch, but you've got 2 legs. But that cluster is fatter than that cluster, so that is an option. I decided that I would like just to do the 3 double crochet in the normal way. 1 this side, oops, 1 this side, and 2 on the next, in the next corner. That means that you don't have, you don't have too much slack, which would mean that it would stretch a great deal. What I will do when I finish the border is to do a row of slip stitches all the way around the edge of my blanket so it doesn't stretch too much. because inevitably it will stretch. Now you can see the different tension, the different types of yarn, even though it's all double knitting, it does work up slightly differently. By putting a border around it, you are helping to square up your blanket. Now this blanket, the patterned bit is going to cover the center of a double bed, but I will need an awful lot more around the edge. But I will make it as big as I can with what yarn I have left. Oh, now I did that wrong because I've reached a corner. I've reached a join, and I'm just going to do my 2 in the next. So I've done 1 in the mint, and now I'm doing 2 into the green, and I'll continue down to the end. Now in the corners, I will just do a corner in the normal way with 2 chain in between. So that is my scraps blanket with the continuous join, a real game chaining granny square join, which is very quick to work up. So I'll just show you what this looks like by pushing it over here. And I try to be as random as possible. I mean, it's not random, but it's pretty nice and colourful in greens and blues, a little bit of tan as well. So thanks so much for watching. If you really would like to learn how to do the central square, head over to the next video, which will show you how to just create this granny square. Now all I've got to do is to weave in all the ends. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Subscribe to my channel and press the bell to get notifications of upcoming videos. Give us a thumbs up to spread the word, and I look forward to speaking to you very soon. Have a great day. Bye.